This conference will now be recorded.
Now let's talk about how we will do configuration in a project. Okay, if you're in a project and you have been assigned a task, how you are going to do the configuration is what we are trying to understand now. Let's say you have to work on something like we discussed BRS in the last session.
Yes.
Okay. Assuming we have to configure manual BRS for a client. We have to configure manual BRS for a client, and let's see how you will proceed with this requirement if you're in a project. So if you have to do this, if you have to work on any requirement, you can replace manual BRS with any other topic of your choice. Since we've discussed BRS in the last session, let's proceed with this. First, what you have to do is you have to understand the existing business process. When we talk about existing business process, what do we mean with respect to the current scenario of BRS? If you're talking about BRS, your existing process represents currently how your client is using or how your users are doing BRS, right? Are they doing in system manually or are they doing out of system manually? You have to understand the existing setup of their BRS process. If there is any process manual, user manual, you have to collect it. Once you are understanding the existing business process, you have to make a note of process. Okay, once you get the requirement, you have to make a note of the process. Once you are clear with the process, what you have to do, you have to design, prepare a solution or process design in SAP. How you are going to design this SAP BRS is what you have to design. Once you are designing this, next thing is what you have to collect test cases or sample business scenarios. If you're talking about BRS, you have to take probably some transactions of their BRS. Maybe the BRS that they've already processed, you have to take any one statement, take one or two samples of each type of transaction. If you have bank deposit, take 2-3 transactions. If you have bank withdrawals, if you have charges, incomes, collect at least one or two transactions in each nature of transaction and then make a note of it. Because when you do the configuration, you have to test from your side to ensure everything is working as per the client requirement or as per the agreement we have made with the client. You would have agreed to make certain corrections, modifications, enhancements, or reports. You have to ensure all these points are met during your configuration, and when you're testing, all these points are touched. So test cases or sample business scenarios you have to collect and keep it with you readily. Based on this business scenarios, first thing that you have to do is go through the standard SAP configuration of manual BRS. Okay, there are certain configuration points for manual BRS. First, you have to go through the configuration steps. What steps are there and what is your client requirement? According to your client requirement, how you are going to proceed with system config. So based on the configuration, based on your client requirement, map the data in the Excel sheet. Okay, map the data in Excel sheet. Let's say you need certain things like business keys, account symbols, posting keys, posting rules, screen variant, right? Transaction variants. You have to be ready with all this information on your Excel sheet and map this information according to SAP configuration. Once you are mapping this SAP configuration and your client business requirement, put everything on an Excel sheet step by step. If you log into SAP, SPRO for BRS configuration, business transactions, payment, manual BRS. So you have to come to one by one. And for everything, you have to make a note. Let's say you have to first list out create account symbols. You put create account symbols and write down how many account symbols are needed for your BRS. If you have 10 account symbols or 8 account symbols, 12 account symbols, list out every account symbol as per your client requirement, only the descriptions. Later on, you are going to decide what naming convention you are going to use, which means what code you are going to put for your account symbol. Then you put GL assignment for your account symbol like this. The next one, how you are going to map GL accounts for each account symbol. Here also you have to put all the account symbols and GL account, whether you are using masking or you are not using masking, fully applying the GL number. You put this. Likewise, for all the configuration steps, you map data in your Excel sheet. This is manual work that you have to do before you set up any configuration of any business process in SAP, irrespective of nature of project. Whether you are working on ECC, S4HANA, implementation, rollout support, this is how you have to work. Right? If you are not working like this, directly you are getting into SAP system, straight away you are configuring, you will forget things may work as per your expectation, things may not work as per your expectation. After configuring, you are not going to move this to production immediately. There may be some corrections, there may be some errors, there may be some additional modifications to the requirement. So then you will have to amend everything. If you are straight away doing on the SAP system, it is difficult for us to understand what we have done earlier, what changes have come up, and why you have changed it. So everything has to be properly documented. Tomorrow, if there is any reason, let's say you have not delivered the project on time, or you have not handed over this for testing on time to the client, you should have proper reasons. If this is delayed because of functionality problems, you have to tell what was the problems you were facing, why there was a delay. If there was a requirement change in the middle, you have to tell that initial requirement was this, but later on the requirement got changed. As a result, the efforts have been amended. So you had to put extra efforts due to which you cannot deliver it on time. Something like that, you have to have the valid answers. That is possible only when you document everything that you're doing. Right? So this is one of the key aspect of your FICO consulting role. Whatever you're doing, make sure you document it, at least in a rough format for your understanding. Okay, assuming you have done everything and you have documented everything. Once you have documented everything on the Excel sheet, first look at this once or twice according to the system. What naming conventions you are using, what GL accounts you are using, what posting rules you are using, what accounting entries you are using, how you are connecting accounting entries, what are your clearing entries, what are your direct entries. Once you are clear with everything, straight away come to SAP and then do all the configuration. Whatever the config you have, maintain all the configuration related settings and Once you are done with all the configuration related settings, so let's put config steps. What you are going to do, log into development 100 client. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have to log into development 100 client, and once you're on the development 100, make the configuration of BRS. You have to make the configuration of BRS. Once your BRS configuration is done, what else you have to do?
Go to 200.
Make a note of TR numbers in the Excel sheet. When you do any configuration, you will get TR number. Is that right? Either customization request or a workbench request. These TR numbers, make a note in the Excel sheet in the sequence. When we talk about the sequence, first configuration request, second configuration request. So if you have done two TR numbers, you need to put two TR numbers in the sequence. Which one is first, which one is next? So that is your sequence. Whenever you are doing a configuration, TR sequence is mandatory. If you are moving the TRs in the wrong sequence, your configuration will not be accurate in the target system. Make a note of TR numbers in the sequence. After that, log into development, let's say 200 client, either 200, 110, 120, the other development, which is your testing client. Okay, once you are on the development 200, go to T code SCC1 and release the TR for client copy. Once you're on the development 200, you have to go to SCC1 transaction code like this. SCC1. From this SCC1, you have to put source client as 100 because you did configuration in client 100. Put source client as 100. You have the transport request number, which you have already listed here. Take this transport request number, put this here, tick test run, tick include tasks in the request, click on start immediately. Okay. Once you do this, whatever the configuration you have done in development 100 will get copied to development 200. So next, after SCC1, all the BRS config will get copied to development 200. Clear so far? Once you execute SCC1 in the development 200 client, all your BRS configuration, whatever you have done, you will now see in development 200 client. Because in development 200, configuration is not allowed. Once you have done this, what you have to do here, two things. Create bank related master data, in short, house bank account IDs and bank master FI01. So this you have to create in the development 200. Make sure if these are already available. If not, you have to create, because these two are master data and is to be created in every client separately. Once you have created bank master transactions, next you have to create bank GL accounts. You have bank main account, bank sub accounts. For whatever the bank you are testing, make sure all the GL accounts are available already. If not, create the bank GL accounts. Once you have all the bank GL accounts created, now verify the configuration once again before testing. Before you start your testing, make sure all the configuration is properly moved. Sometimes there may be errors or there may be issues while copying the configuration. Just to avoid such kind of errors, ensure your TR is properly moved. All the settings are applicable or visible on the development to 200 client. Once everything is done, you have to start your testing. When you are starting your testing, what you are going to do? Testing steps. Okay. So to start your testing, take the sample or test data collected from client. Okay, your client will give you sample data or test data. Otherwise, you have to take it from your client, or you have to prepare your own test data according to your business requirement. The way they are going to use BRS, in the same way you have to take your test data. It is not that BRS will post entry like this, I'll post any one entry. That is wrong. You have to take test data exactly what they are going to do in the production system. Only then you will come to know whether your config is working as expected or not. Clear? Once you take the sample test data from your client, do a manual working to understand the data or transaction flow. Once you get the data from your client, make sure you are able to understand the data or the transaction flow. What entries you are posting, how you are posting, what you exactly have to do, whether you have to post entry first or you have to do BRS first. So once you are clear with the data that you have with you, in short, your test data you have to understand. It is not that this is the test data, I'll go and post the entries. Then you are practicing data entry, which is wrong. Okay, understand the data that you have from your client. Make sure you are able to visualize BRS from it. Then post sample entries to be used in manual BRS. For you to use or for you to perform manual BRS, whatever the data is needed, you post those sample entries. Once you post the sample entries, check the bank GL reports and bank balances before doing BRS. Once data entry is completed, ensure that your bank GL reports are showing the balances XYZ. Make a note of all the GL account balances before performing BRS. And once you are doing BRS, make sure that what is your expected figures in each bank account. Okay, because you are clear what entries you are going to test, what amounts you are going to test, and considering this, what will be your expected output. What balance should be shown in your bank main account, what respective balance should be shown in your bank sub accounts, incoming, outgoing, whatever. If you are not having this, it is difficult for you to understand. It is difficult for you to judge whether your BRS is working fine or not. Otherwise, system may post the entries, but balances may not match. Balances may go mismatching due to different reasons. So your testing is not to ensure the document is posted or not. Your testing is also to ensure values in the reports or matching are accurate. That is where your testing is called as it's a successful testing. Otherwise, testing is done, document got posted, but on the reporting when I check, numbers are mismatching or numbers are not clear. I'm not able to understand why numbers got changed. So that is most important. Now perform BRS in the SAP, and after BRS take out the GL reports and check each account balance with manual workings. Whatever the manual workings you have done, according to that, check if your bank GLs are tallying, agreeing or not. If they are agreeing according to your manual workings, then your BRS testing is fine. Okay, now what you have done, you have posted the transactions according to business requirement. Whatever the way it has to be posted, in the similar way you have posted. Now this is called as positive testing. What testing? This is called as your positive testing. When we talk about positive testing, you are talking about the way it has to work, you are testing in the same way. Sometimes you have to do negative testing also. Let's say some entry will have to be posted only if the negative amount is posted. What if I give positive amount? Is the system still accepting? We do not know. You have to check once. So that is called as your negative testing. Negative testing means you are checking the system if the wrong ways, if the wrong usage is allowed or not. Sometimes there may not be checkpoints, there may not be control points to restrict incorrect usage. So if such incorrect usage is accepted, you have to put restrictions. You have to see why system is taking in the negative way also, and you have to put a stop point or a restriction to avoid such. So that is called your negative testing. You have to do the negative testing. Once your negative testing is also completed, what you are going to do? You are going to do proper full testing with step-by-step screenshots. What you have to do? Because your initial positive testing, your initial negative testing is only to check the system performance, whether it is working as expected or not. Once you have tested positively and negatively, you are fine with your workings. You're convinced that it is working as expected. Then what you have to do? You have to do a proper full testing with step-by-step screenshots. When I say proper full testing, you need to have a detailed requirement. You need to have a detailed requirement, and you need to do a thorough testing exactly the way it is used in a production system. Normally what we will do for our testing, you will put left and right. Whatever date you want, you will put your date, reference, amount, GL accounts. We will take as per our choice because we feel it's a testing. That is fine. But when you're doing a proper testing, you have to have the proper accurate data because you are going to document your testing. You are going to document your testing called as UT document. So we have to prepare unit testing, in short UT document from development 200 system. Clear? You have to prepare a unit testing document from development 200 system. What exactly you do from unit testing? You have to go to BRS screens. Whatever the screen you have, let's say FF67. You have to take the screenshot before filling all the information. Okay, now this is all blank. I have to take this screenshot and I have to put in this step number 1. Go to FF67 process manual BRS and put this screenshot, which represents this is how the screen looks. And then you put another step, fill out all the required bank related information. In that, you put all the data like this, something like this. Fill up all this information, opening balance, closing balance, posting date, and then if possible, put description for each. Company code. Take this into a notepad, paint document, put all the highlighters, add the text. Fill your company code, house bank, fill out the house bank for which BRS is to be performed. Something like that, one liners you have to put. What is mandatory, what is not mandatory, because you do not fill all this information. So these are not needed. So you have to highlight the fields which is to be filled up. After that, give opening balance, closing balance. Okay, and you will come here. You take screenshot of this screen before filling up the data, and after filling up the data, take one more screenshot and then put all your points. Make sure this amount is matching with your entered amount. After that, click on save. Each step you have to capture with screenshot, and not only the screenshot, you have to put at least one liner basic information about it. Clear? So you have to prepare a document like this. You have to prepare a document like this, and preferably convert UT document into PDF format. Okay, once your document is ready, convert that into PDF document and have that PDF document with you. After your PDF document is converted, you are fine with your testing and all. Move the changes to quality system. Okay, you have to move the changes to quality system. So either from FICO side or from basis side. It depends on project to project, company to company. In some companies, you can release the TR from your side from SE01 or SE09 transaction. In some projects, you will not have access to release the TRs. You have to send an email to basis consultant giving with the TR number. They will move the TR to the quality system. Then same thing in quality. You have to check all the configuration is properly moved or not. Make sure all the master records are properly created. Then do a UAT testing along with the client. Once all the changes are moved to quality, conduct a UAT session with users. When we talk about UAT session, we are talking about user acceptance testing. So here what you are going to do, you are going to share your UT document with the client. Your client will have unit testing document which will tell how to test BRS, what screenshots to be referred, what data to be filled up in each screen. They will have a detailed PDF document which you have already prepared and shared with them. Now what they are going to do, they have to log into the system. Users will have to do the testing in QAS with their user ID. Okay, users will have to do the testing with their user ID. Sometimes what will happen, there may be authorization related errors. Your user may not have access or authorization to open or post BRS entries. Then you will come to know, okay, there is some authorization issues, you will have to fix the authorization issue. Whatever the role authorization missing, assign the missing authorization object and do the testing again. Because tomorrow the same users will have to perform a BRS on the production. If they are getting authorization problem in the quality system, same problem will come in production also. In your quality system, you can give your user ID and you can complete the testing. But in production, that is not the issue. In production, that is not the case because you are not supposed to use your user ID in production for any data entry. So such things will have to be performed, and you may get questions why we have to do UAT for quality system, and with whose user ID you will perform it. Is it with your ID, or do you create any test ID, or you will do it with the actual user ID? It is strictly with the actual user ID, not with our ID or not with any test ID. Okay, to ensure that there are no authorization related problems. Once your user had tested this, if the UAT is successful, prepare a UAT document similar to UT document. Whatever the unit testing document you have prepared, in the similar way you have to prepare UAT document, taking out all the screenshots that your client had tested. Once this is done, conduct the training session. Once your UAT is completed, which means you have ensured that the process is working fine. If everything is working fine, then you have to initiate a training session. You have to provide training on it, because UAT you may be using only with 1 or 2 users, but in the organization there may be multiple users who will use this. So UAT, you are not going to call everybody. You are going to call only 2-3 people which are called as core team members. Okay, you will do UAT with limited users. Once everything is successful, you will conduct a training session wherein all the users who are responsible for BRS will attend that training session. You will lead that. When I say you will lead the training session, you have to conduct the training. You have to present your screen maybe on a projector, on a conference room, or whatever it is, depending on the organization. You have to explain them step by step how to perform a BRS. Once you show the BRS on the training session, then they might ask different questions, their doubts or queries. What about my old BRS? How we have to proceed if balances are not matching in case of errors? All these questions they might ask. You will have to answer all those questions. Okay, clarify all those questions, or if there are any points, action points to be taken up, make a note of it. Tell them that okay, this is not currently ready. We will provide a report, or we will fix this, whatever, maybe in the next week or maybe in couple of days, like that. And once the training session is also completed, you have to take the UAT sign off email from the business. You have to take the UAT sign off email from the business, which means your client will give you an email confirmation stating BRS is currently working fine as per our expectation, and we are fine with that. Then what you have to do, prepare a final version configuration document. You actually have to prepare this when you are in the development system itself, the initial rough draft version. Okay, so when you are doing the configuration, that time itself you have to prepare the document, but at that stage it is not recommended to prepare the document unless it is working fine, because you will be doing a lot of changes on the configuration. Once everything is completed, make sure you will prepare a final version configuration document containing each step by step, wherein you have to define the first step like this. You have to start from SPRO, IMG, financial accounting, the same way how you will get your user manuals from Google. If you see Google, you will get user manuals, right? Step-by-step screenshots. In the similar way, you have to prepare your configuration document. Until this, you have to write the path. You have to select this, open this. If you have created this, whatever, let's say, you have created from 1 to 4 like this. Your screenshot should show only this 4. Don't take the full screen. Okay, your screenshot should reflect only the content that you have configured, which is applicable for your assignment. Take this screenshot, put this. Similarly, all the configuration steps you have done, capture in a document. And move the changes to production system by sending an email to basis team. Any TR to the production system is strictly performed from from the basis side. So for any production movement, we need to make sure documentation checklist is available or prepared, which is nothing but your business requirement document, configuration document, UT document, UAT document, user manual if applicable. Normally, the UT document that you are going to prepare is similar to user manual. User manual, TR numbers, authorization / roles, and UAT sign off, and business approval. Okay, so this is basic checklist for any TR that you are moving to production. Let it be a small one, let it be a big one. But this is a mandatory checklist in every project. Tomorrow, if somebody is asking, if you were to do any configuration, what would you do? You must talk about all these points: business requirement document, configuration document, unit testing, UAT document, user manual, TR numbers, authorization roles, UAT sign off, business approval. If these are not there, your basis consultant, your basis team may not move the TR to the production. They will tell this document is missing. There will be a checklist with every basis team. For any production TR movement, they will ensure all these documents are attached or not. This is mandatory in every project, irrespective of your support, implementation, rollout. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, once the changes are moved to production system, send out an email to the business users to notify the new process or functionality is ready to use. Okay, assist the business in using it in PRT for the first time. Because if you're not assisting them for the first time, they may commit mistakes and they may send out an email stating, no, this is not working. Because they are going to use it for the first time in production, it is always recommended you are there with them, maybe on a call, or you are guiding them how to use it. because it is called as successfully implemented. It is called as working successfully only when they use it in production without any issues, without any errors. Because this is a new function that we have enabled, or this is a new process that we have enabled. For any new function, for any new process, you have something called authorization role. You have to assign the respective authorization roles to the users who are supposed to use this. If you miss out it, then they may not be able to access it in production. So you have to avoid such points, especially when you are in the production environment. Once you complete all these points, then your configuration activity is completed, whether it is a small one or it is a big one. Clear? So this is how you'll have to do. When you do it in your practice environment, it is very simple. Within 1 hour, within half an hour, you will do it. But when you have to do it, same thing in a live environment, in a project, what exactly you do, it has to be in a sequential, proper order in your mind. Okay, if you say that you were part of any project, support, implementation, rollout, they might ask you, did you work on this? If you say yes, they might ask you what you have done. And if you say you have done configuration, they will ask how you did configuration. Their intention is not to know your configuration steps. Their intention is to know about all these process related steps. You did config in development 100, you moved to development 200, you tested in development 200, you prepared config document, you prepared unit testing document, you have moved changes to quality, you have initiated, conducted UAT session, taken UAT sign off from the business, you have conducted a training on that to the users, created, worked on authorization elements, right? User manual is prepared, things have been moved to the production system, you have assisted them in using it for the first time. This is what they expect from you when you say you have configured anything on the SAP real environment. Am I clear? Any questions on this so far? Clear? Or any questions, confusions? No question?
No, sir.
All right. So refer all this. Let me stop this.